We should probably do this Lone Ranger because there's a lot to get to.
Is there? I think I fell asleep for a little bit, Dan.
Well, we'll talk about that. I ended up with 6 pages still. I was trying
6 pages? I mean, the movie's 9 hours long, so I guess that makes sense. I have a page and a half of notes.
Well, that's about right. That's about the right amount.
I think it was like the first like 20 minutes. I think I wrote a bunch, and then like nothing until like the last 10 minutes. Just checked
it's
out
funny
of the movie.
I would stop and then go back to my notes, and I'm like, what does this even mean? I don't even know what this means.
I just watched it, and I have no idea what I'm saying. Hey, watch it! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch it! With Dan and Tony! It's Hate Watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony, the show that shows the shows that have been shown.
And they need to be shown.
They need to be shown.
So we show them.
We pick a movie, we watch a movie, it's a bad movie.
Usually.
Have we actually ever watched what we would consider a good... There's movies you'd go back to and maybe watch, but I don't know that we've ever watched...
Isn't that what a good movie is, Dan? Rewatchability. That's all I need. Jason X, for example. I'm going to watch that again next Halloween. It's going to be great.
Yeah, Todd and I were talking... Todd just watched that one. He was talking about where he beats the girls to death in the sleeping bags.
It's incredible. He beats a woman with another woman in a sleeping bag. I mean, and then, it's so good. What a ridiculous movie.
And they're laughing through the whole thing.
So am I.
And that gives you hope that maybe serial killers can be solved by virtual reality. They could just go into the virtual reality, do their thing.
Get it out of their system.
Get it out of their system. Come back out there, be useful humans in society.
I think you figured it out, Dan. That's the answer.
And that's why Facebook is doing this meta thing. It's going to solve the serial killer problem. Did you see that avatar of stupid Zuckerberg that he was looking at?
No, I didn't.
He looks at this anemic, large-headed creature that looks like, you're just like, this is how you picture yourself in this multiverse?
It's going to be good. It's going to be really great. I can't wait.
So this week, we've been doing a bunch of movies based on other older properties. This week, I picked The Lone Ranger from 2013, starring Johnny Depp, top line Johnny Depp.
Oh, okay.
Second banana, Armie the Cannibal Hammer.
It's a good nickname. It does actually kind of fits with his name, which is interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
And that came up a bunch during this movie while we were watching it. It just like every time he says something, it's like, oh, he wants to eat her. I don't know why, but it felt like it came through in this performance a little bit, and we all should have seen it coming. That's all I'm saying.
This movie definitely foreshadows the idea.
The warning signs were there, guys, when we just missed them.
The reporters should have dug a little deeper.
Right. Why did you do this? It's like, yeah.
So this movie is a Disney movie, not on Disney Plus. For some reason.
For good reason. I wouldn't put it on Disney Plus either.
No. 2013, 2 hours and a comfortable 29 more minutes.
A solid 1 hour longer than it needs to be. Like almost a full movie longer than it should be.
Tony, what is the plot of this movie?
How the fuck should I know, Dan? I would argue that there isn't a plot, and we're just kind of seeing these guys do different things occasionally.
I would argue that there's probably 2 or 3 plots.
Oh, okay. Could you give me the second and third plots, please?
Well, there's one plot where they've somehow laid railroad track through Indian territory
while nobody noticed. Come on, guys.
And then they're gonna hook up to this to do something. Because at one point there's like this big map on the wall, right?
With just a piece of paper over it that's like, we're gonna fill this railroad in, and nobody saw that. I don't know. Just drawn in crayon. Here's our plan, everybody.
Then there's another plot where like this bad guy wants to do bad things for weird reasons and start an Indian war so we can kill the Indians for a reason.
Yeah, I don't. Is that a guilt complex thing?
Then there's a third plot where we gotta get some silver that we've known has been there for 20, 30 years, but now we're finally going to get the silver, even though we have an entire mining setup at the silver.
But it's hard to get out of the Silver River.
Not
right?
really. Not really.
I don't know, Dan. Listen, I didn't write the movie.
So
it does look like a lot of silver, though. In their defense, like I'm like, whoa, let's get in there.
Now, were those just? I didn't do the silver research, but it looked like. Well, okay, we're gonna do the movie. We start in San Francisco, 1933. This kid.
Hold on, before you even get to that, Dan. The first thing we have to talk about. Where did you watch this?
On the television.
On who? Did you watch it on Hulu or did you rent it?
I rented it.
I don't know what it says on the rental. On Hulu, you know how they do like the warning. These are the things that this movie does, like graphic violence, blah, blah, blah. One of the warnings is OC, outdated cultural depiction. And so this is viewer discretion advised because we are racists. Unbelievable. As soon as that came up, I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble. That's not good. This movie came out 8 years ago. It's not outdated. It was outdated when you made it then, you idiots.
Oh, no, it was. I didn't look for like what the outrage was. I mean, other than Johnny Depp saying casually that he thinks maybe his grandmother was part American Indian.
I mean, how bizarre.
Native American. Maybe, like
Johnny.
Are we going to talk about Johnny Depp? Should we just start with Johnny Depp?
I think we'll get it out of the way, and then we don't have to deal with it again for the rest of this podcast.
Oh, we'll probably have to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right about that. I mean, it's pretty bad. That's summation level. It's pretty bad. Probably don't do that.
Interesting thing I read was Gore and Johnny and everybody was like, the reason why the movie's not performing is because of the negative press about the troubled production of the movie.
Nope. That wasn't it at all, guys. I didn't even know there was troubled production, if I'm being honest. That never crossed my radar. Horrible racism crossed my radar. Awful depictions, definitely. Yeah. And I don't understand, Dan, how I would say conservatively a large movie like this has what, 100, 200 people on set daily. Oh, and they are all watching this happen in real time. And everyone's like, yeah, this is fine. I'm okay with this. This feels right. Unbelievable.
Nobody walked up and said, dude, guys, come on.
Guys. Can we tone it down a little, maybe? I mean, I know we already cast the film, so we're past that step, but at least like bring it down a couple of notches.
When I was doing my research, I was hoping what we're going to find out is that Johnny Depp was a white guy who got kidnapped by the Indians, Native Americans. And because that did happen. We absolutely know of cases like that. We were going to do that. He's just going to be a white kid that was raised with Native Americans. And I'd have been like, cool.
Would have been great. There's a point in the movie, I'm sure we'll get there, but there's a point in the movie where Armie Hammer's like, he gets captured by this tribe, right? And he's like, he's one of you. And they're like, not anymore. And I was like, yeah, ever since I found out he's a white guy, they were like, get out of here, dude. Oh, it's hard to watch.
It's so problematic. And then, the one thing is if they'd have played this movie really straight, and it had been like a Western as opposed to a wacky Western, you'd have been like, maybe. But I mean, Johnny's like doing the voice and then like cracking like very contemporary jokes.
Yes. It's very weird. It feels like it's one of those things where you watch it and you feel uncomfortable. You're like, I feel bad watching it. You're sucking me into your sins, guys. I don't know. It's tough. And yet still, above all that, Armie Hammer's still my least favorite part of the film.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
Armie,
he's a good-looking guy. I don't say anything against that, but
yeah, he's good
what a
looking.
what a dullard in this movie.
He just there's just nothing. Well, I mean, and in Armie's defense, this character is given nothing.
Oh, nothing to do. Yeah, no. I mean, there's absolutely zero to do. I.
They tell him to go from here to there and act, like they give him movements that can
Yeah,
occur with his body.
that's called blocking. They give him the blocking, and then that's about it. And he's like, "Wait, what am I doing in this scene?" Like, just do the blocking. You're fine.
So we start out, we're in San Francisco. The Golden Gate Bridge is being built. It's 1933. Golden Gate Bridge didn't start for another 3 or 4 years, but
There's a couple of these moments where it's like they bring up Sears at one point. Sears isn't invented for like 20 years or something. We looked it up and it was like astronomically different. I was like, what is going on in this movie?
you mean when they're playing with those O scale model railroads that we haven't invented model railroads from the
I mean, how could they? They're still inventing the regular railroad.
but no, they're making perfect replicas of, you're like, it's interesting. I love the Sergio Leone westerns. You watch them and they're very slow compared to this, and I understand that. But you watch like an old real western, and there's so much gravitas, and there's just like so much dripping tension and bullshit, and then you make this thing that's just like I read all the stuff where they were talking about making everything look right and all this, that, and the other thing. And then you watch a Sergio Leone one and you're like, yeah, it looks like you bought a Western off of the back lot.
Right, exactly.
Put it somewhere. There's like, there's no grit or grime or reality.
Everything's very clean, even though it's in the middle of the desert. I don't know, guys.
Yeah, there's one scene in Once Upon a Time in the West where they go into this place, like a way station, and it's like this one building and the horses are inside right there next to the people and the bar. It's just like, it's gross.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
No, it's unappealing. And this is like, we're in the West and my hat remains perfectly white the entire movie. You're like, no.
I'll tell you right now, Dan, my least favorite part about the state fair is the animal barn. I can't even go in there because I'm like, it smells terrible. I don't like the outside just in general. And I don't feel that in this movie at all. There's a point where he gets dragged over horse poop and I was like, we come back and he's totally clean. And he like rubs his head and he's like, oh, that smells funny. Anyhow,
if you were dragged through horse poop, how would you react, Tony?
I would vomit out my own intestines and then I'd be dead on the floor. That's because I would keep happening. I'd be like, it won't get off of me because it's not like they have like a nice shower that I could go into. It's just there forever. And then I put it on my hands. I put it on my clothes. What are you going to do? It's there. You can't get it off of you. You got to kill yourself.
So we start off in San Francisco. We go to the carnival. Then the kid goes into the Wild West show. He's dressed like the Lone Ranger. We're not even going to get into that. My favorite part of the movie is they walk by the little 3D enclosure where they have the stuffed bison. Beautiful. Just the production design in this tent is the only redeeming thing in this whole movie, in my opinion. It just was so good looking.
Sure.
Then we go to the next one, grizzly bear. Then we go to the third one, and it's American, Native American, or whatever they call it.
There's something about a savage, the great savage or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, ooh.
The noble savage.
There it is.
Turns out that it's Johnny Depp in old age Tonto makeup standing.
Here's the thing, Dan. This old age makeup is at least him at 300 years old. This is not like your average 80-year-old makeup. It is so grotesque and over the top. This guy's at least 300 years old, without a doubt.
So this framing sequence, and so he starts telling him about the Lone Ranger, sort of, and gives him a dead mouse, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they got to trade. Oh. Okay, so this is where I begin to not understand the movie. and it happens quick. But what is going on?
What do you mean?
Why is he an exhibit? Is that a thing that happened?
Oh, sure. Of course.
Real people?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's like a freak show thing, but yeah, they absolutely they were big Wild West shows who the primary thing would be like Sitting Bull. He would be like the star attraction, and then they'd come out and they'd do a Wild West show and shooting and things like that, and then all the Native Americans would ride out. But no, I'm sure in circuses they exhibited American Indians. Absolutely.
Then this is the most depressing movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, it's super depressing. I mean, that aspect of it.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's horrible. And just the idea that this is where he ended up is like, I don't understand. Like,
I know we want to end on a real downer.
Oh, they end on a real downer.
Open on a downer, end on a downer, and then do a lot of nonsense in between.
So we jump back and forth to this framing sequence occasionally for no real reason.
None at all, because there's no payoff to it, to me.
Nope.
Like, I don't even understand why we're here. Like, who gives a shit then? Don't show me this part of it. It just depresses me. Let's just stay in the fun part, which doesn't exist. But, like, theoretically, it would have been the fun part if you made a good movie.
Yeah. The thing about movies is they do not have to be set up as a storytelling situation. They don't. I mean, good movies like The Princess Bride have that within them, but it's for a reason.
Yeah, they use it as like a device, like, this movie's not good.
So
I love it.
We start off with the Lone Ranger and Tonto robbing a bank.
Yeah, because they want to start the movie off so you go, wait, what's happening? I thought they were good guys. I don't understand where we are. And then they're just not going to deal with it again for like another 45 minutes, and you forgot about it by the time it comes back around.
Oh, no. Closer to 2 hours.
Is it really?
Oh, God, yes. This is very near the end of the film that they resolve what this is.
Well, then I feel less silly for forgetting it until they brought it back up, and I was like, oh, that's right. What a dumb move.
So we go now. We fully go back to the time period because now we understand we're being told a story by Tonto. Oof. 1869. The railroad is there. Tom Wilkinson's the watch guy. The bad guy's coming to. They're bringing the bad guy to town to do something to him because you always have to bring a guy somewhere to do something to him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't do it where you are. That's just silly.
That's silly. And then his name is Butch. We also see Ruth Wilson, who's got like this child. And then we see poor Helena Bonham Carter, who, God bless her check, is the role that is the most incomprehensible known to man.
Yeah. She's another thing. That's not what I meant to say. Another part of the movie that like gets introduced early and then completely disappears, and then she comes back later. I was like, oh, I totally forgot she's in this movie.
Well, I mean, I think she literally has three she's introduced here. There's one brothel scene, and then she does like one incredibly small thing for no reason at the end.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And actually has, I mean, if you could tell me what her connection to any of this is, I would be stunned.
It's her ivory leg.
No.
That seems to be like a running theme.
Who's she connected to in any way?
Elephants.
There it is. Connected to the elephants. Okay,
I have no idea, Dan. I don't understand anything.
We have some CGI bison that go across the tracks.
Question.
Okay.
I mean, it looked fine. Like, it's fake, but it looks fine. And this is my ignorance is really showing, I think, in this episode already.
Sure.
But are the bison dead? Did we kill them all?
At this point, 1869, there's probably still big herds out there. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I could be wrong,
but
I
don't know my history very well, but.
We, at a certain point, they would just, you'd just be in the train and the bison would be out there, and then they would just shoot them as you rode by, and they would just rot in the fields.
We just wasted them?
Of course we did. We're Americans.
Jesus, God, we're the worst.
There'll
Worst.
always be more. Good luck with that
Yeah,
human race.
you dum dums.
So
Ay, ay, ay.
I wrote Johnny Depp has a watch. So Johnny Depp is locked up with the bad guy in the thing. And then lo and behold, and so the bad guy gets a gun out of a
The
secret hiding
floorboard.
place. And
Yep.
then he kills the guards, and then his bros ride up. And then Armie
Mhm.
Hammer's going to be the new district attorney or something really that we never understand. And he never pursues his own whatever he's supposed to do. So he's there, and then he's going back towards the train thing. Then he ends up there, and we just go, we have guns, you have guns, they have guns. And you know what no one ever does?
Fire a gun.
Takes a shot. No one
Yeah.
takes a shot. I've been hunting you for 1,000 years, and now I will give a speech that is 6 years long before I shoot you. Oh, someone hit me over the head. The bad guy, the murderous bad guy, the most horrible bad guy in the world. I've got you dead to rights. Instead of shooting you, I will chain you up.
Do we know what he's done?
Just everything bad.
That's kind of what all right, yeah. Just like a blanket, like he's the bad guy, boo, boo, boo. I mean, obviously they killed a bunch of people for the silver, which is bad. Because, right, that's him, right? Or is that not him?
That was him long ago.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. But, so, like, what is he in for now? I don't know. I don't understand the movie.
It doesn't matter. So they get chained up, and then the train's a runaway train, and then they're chained together, and then there's a bunch of fighting, and then they're chained together, and there's a giant crash, and they almost get a big thing into their crotch. Ooh.
But let's take a look at this crash really quickly, because the train's going at train speed. I don't know what that would be, but it's fast enough. And they get thrown from the train into the desert, and they're tumbling and tumbling and tumbling and scraping, and then they're fine. They're totally fine. They just kind of sit up and they're like, boy, that was wild. I hate
More
this
importantly,
movie.
the train flies as far as them.
Yeah. Well, because physics,
Because of physics, yes, absolutely, because of physics. I watched a whole thing about the trains in this thing, and they made all the trains, and they built like all this train track in the desert. They built like this gigantic oval so they could do north, south, and east, west. And then they built all these trains in the forest, and the trains look great, but because you don't care about anything in this movie, you don't really care if anybody lives or dies.
And here's the thing, Dan. This opening train sequence is like 25 minutes long. You don't open a movie with a 25-minute action sequence, because I don't know any of these people. I'm not rooting for anyone. I don't really care. I'm just like, can we get to some sort of story so I can understand what the fuck is going on? And we don't. We just ride this train for a while.
A whole while. So we get to town. We find out that he's got a brother, Dan, coolest character in the movie.
Dan.
He's cool, Armie Hammer, and we learn about Armie Hammer's code of not using a gun.
Was that a thing from the OG? It was. Okay.
This is one thing I'm going to tell you. I did a little research. I've been a collectibles dealer and dealt in collectibles. Lone Ranger. Didn't know the history of the Lone Ranger. What happens in this movie is almost exactly the history of the Lone Ranger.
Yikes. Okay.
He had a brother. They went out there. They all got killed, and then he became the Lone Ranger.
Okay.
Was no stupid brother is married to the woman that he loves and has a baby, because that is the most useless. So the brother has a wife who's actually in love with Armie Hammer, and he treats her like shit, because
yeah. Well, he just like leaves her a lot,
I always thought he was going to have a Native American wife out there that we were going to meet, and that we were going to be
a second family.
That's what I really thought was going to happen because of that the American Indian pendant and
Yep.
all that.
Well, they make a big deal out of it. Yeah, you're right.
The pendant really kind of means nothing.
Well, it means that he made a promise and then he didn't uphold the promise because he got murdered in the face.
Murdered in
It's
the
tough.
face.
It's hard.
And so we set up this dynamic that the Lone Ranger loves this woman, and at the end of the movie, he's like, "Up, no, we can't be
I'm
together."
gonna bounce out of here, but this was fun. I had a great time, lady. I love you. See you later.
Good luck on your life, and you're kind of like,
Good luck raising the kid alone, you idiot.
it's kind of jumping ahead, but it's probably the worst thing about this movie is because he didn't have any impetus to go and be the Lone Ranger from that point. He would have settled down with the woman.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. He's been in love with her forever. And
He's
he
in love with
finally
her.
got his brother out of the way.
His brother is gone. She needs help, but he's going to help the vague people that he doesn't know get the help they need.
And not only that, Dan, his brother gives him the green light. When he's dying there, he's like, hey, she loves you. Go fuck my wife. And then Armie's like, cool, bro. Thank you. Peace out. Close your eyes. You're out of here. Unbelievable.
So they all go off. Dan and Armie and a bunch of guys go off chasing the bad guys. And the bad guys, for whatever reason, set an ambush for them, which of course makes no sense. Why would they ambush them? They left because there's no bad will between them at all.
Yep.
And so everybody gets killed. Armie Hammer gets killed, but not killed. And then Tonto comes across them, and then he buries everyone, and then he sees that Armie's not dead, and then he tries to kill Armie.
I did laugh at this part. When he wakes up and he hits him with a rock. It's funny.
Okay, Tony, you're taking all this time to bury people, and one of the people is not dead. You're going to be like, since I took the time to dig that hole, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, what are you going to ruin all my hard work? Did you see the tiny shovel that he's using, Dan? It probably took him 9 hours to bury them. Okay, you should at least have the respect to stay dead. Sheesh.
So then Silver, the white horse, shows up, and Silver's wants.
Where did this horse come from? Did I miss that?
Well, they showed it. They saw it in the distance at one point, and they're like, "That's the magic horse that magic horses all the time."
Oh, okay, so the explanation is just as dumb as me not knowing where it came from. Got it.
Yeah. So let's see. Horse on my leg. Oh darn! Dan got killed. Take my wife.
But does he think? Because then he's he's bringing the horse to Dan and trying to have the horse reanimate Dan or something. But then the horse keeps going to Armie Hammer, and he's like, no, wrong brother. Bring this guy back. But he already knows that Armie Hammer isn't dead, so he knows the horse isn't bringing him back. Right? Well, the horse is just like, hey, this guy's alive. Let's go to him. Let's hang out with a live guy.
Oh, we left out one part. Butch comes back, and he carves out Dan's heart and eats it.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Okay. So Johnny Depp's character keeps saying that Butch is a Wendigo, which is this malevolent spirit that feasts on human flesh.
Yeah.
Not unlike what Armie Hammer wanted to do after he was in this movie.
Amen. He's like, wow, that's a great idea. I'm going to incorporate that into my real life. Thank you.
So I guess in the process of this movie, Disney's changed studio heads. And the new studio head looked at this movie, and he's like, we need to kind of tone down the heart-eating aspect because it's a Disney movie.
Like, hey guys, I just want to throw this out there. Maybe less heart-eating. Just think about it.
And there was also this one really good scene with all the good guys are dead, and we spend all this time doing these glamour shots of their dead bodies laying in the canyon, and you're like, I don't know the names of any of these characters. I don't care that any of
not a single one.
Don't care about them at all.
Not at all.
Just a bunch of dead people that no one has cared about. The script does not care about them. Gore Verbinsky does not. No one cares about these people.
No, we
but
sure don't.
we're spending this time on them like we
We're
care.
lingering, yeah, for no reason. Here's one thing I will say in the new studio head's defense: the movie is pretty intense at some point. Like, it doesn't know what it wants to be. There's like points of extreme violence.
Yes.
Like oh shit, what am I watching violence? But then there's like the goofy nonsense every once in a while, not nearly enough in my opinion.
Sure.
There's no cohesive like tone to the movie, and I just feel like it's a whole mess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, this should have been either an intense Western or it should have been a white hat adventure. In which case, the Lone Ranger,
And what is that?
just where the white hat's the good guy and he just comes in there and takes care of the bad guys. Always like, the Lone Ranger doesn't shoot people; he shoots guns out of people's hands. And
Got it.
you could have comedically dealt with that like 100 different
They
ways.
did kind of comedically deal with that, right? When he's like, that was supposed to be a warning shot. Yeah, that's a decent nod. I mean, he ends up murdering them, which is, I guess, not great. Now that I'm replaying the whole scene in my head, I guess they didn't do it very well.
No. So Johnny Depp takes him, drags him through horse shit, and then puts him on the top of this big tower that somehow
How do you get him up there?
I mean, the tower. Why is this tower there? It's like we've done this whole thing so Armie wakes up and almost falls to his death. And
Which
it's
is
like
just absurd.
It's like this wacky joke, and it's like it makes no sense. And it's like if the whole movie was like that, where we're doing Mel Brooksy kind of stuff, we're like, what the hell just happened there?
Sure. I'm on board. You know how I feel about Ghostbusters.
You love the new Ghostbusters.
Well, not the new. Now it's no longer the new Ghostbusters.
Thank God.
I have not seen the new Ghostbusters.
Did that come out? No.
Great question. I do not know. I think by the time this podcast comes out,
it might be out.
It will have come out.
So he says the horse says you're a spirit walker, that you can't. Oh, so Armie finds then. So he's on this tower, and then he gets down from the tower, and then he goes and finds Tonto.
Just climbs down.
And what is the first thing he does when he sees Tonto?
Isn't this where he's talking to a horse, and he's like, "Hey, why are you talking to a horse?"
No, he grabs a gun and threatens him that he's going to kill him with a gun.
Oh, okay, got it. Well, just very Lone Ranger-y.
It's like this guy that's like, guns are bad, no guns, no guns. First thing he just grabs a gun and points it at the.
It's like I'm ready. That tower scared me so much. I'm ready to shoot anybody. Pew pew.
So then they're eating dinner. They're eating a rabbit, and what happens, Tony?
I don't remember them eating a rabbit.
Don't you remember them eating a rabbit? And then they're surrounded by cannibal rabbits?
Wait, what? Wait, what? I don't remember that at all.
There are two scenes in this movie that are so baffling. They're sitting there eating. They've got a cooked rabbit. Nom nom. And then all these other cute little bunnies come up. And they're all like, and the bunnies go, and they have big vampire fangs. You don't remember this?
You're pulling my leg right now, right? Like there's no way this was in this movie.
Okay. The second scene is when they get buried up to their heads, hundreds of scorpions, well, actually about 12 scorpions, come up and do that, and then the horse licks them off, which I actually liked.
I remember. Yeah.
And then at the very end, we see another scorpion.
The bunny. Yes. That I remember, because then I looked it up and I was like, I don't think bunnies eat meat. I think they're herbivores. And I believe that I'm correct.
And so these other bunnies come up and they have these big teeth. And so they tear off one of the legs of the bunny they're eating and toss it to them. And then all these bunnies scurry away.
I do not remember this at all. And nothing you're saying sounds familiar at all. Why is that in the movie? That doesn't make any sense. There's no that doesn't come back. I don't understand, Dan. You're lying.
I'm not lying, because you remember that other bunny and he bears.
I do remember the other bunny, and I was like, this bunny's so random. I've never seen anything like this before in my life.
So we do a whole thing where there was a mask, and the mask was made by shooting something during the killing. And
isn't it his brother's vest?
Yeah.
And it's like holes. guess what, guys? Bullet holes don't cut that cleanly. Like, that's not a thing. I don't understand. It's perfectly shaped through his head. This doesn't make any sense.
So then they go to town to search for the scout that was the guy that betrayed the brother, and we do the whole Helena Bonham Carter brothel scene, which she's got an ivory leg, and she says, "Here, look at this weird rock," and it's like a big hunk of silver, and you're like, like she wouldn't know what a
you don't know what silver is. You've never seen that? What are you talking about? Look at this moon rock that I have. Ooh.
I really thought it was going to be radioactive. I was going to start killing everyone.
Hey, maybe that's what's wrong with the bunnies.
And then we get to what makes this movie truly terrible.
We've already been there, but please continue.
Armie Hammer starts making all these jokes and talking about how he's going to get her in trouble for health code violation.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I forgot about that, Dan. What are they doing? What are they doing? And then he names some of the health code violations. Why? Who thought that this would be funny? I don't understand. It made me very angry. Very angry at the time.
Then I wrote pickles and fire escapes. I don't know why I wrote that.
Pickles and fire escapes.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a Chutes and Ladders knockoff.
And then the horses outside drinking booze?
Yeah, just picking up bottles and glug, glug, glug.
So then everyone in the town attacks the brothel. Do you remember why they attacked the brothel, Tony?
Health code violations.
Nope. Because they saw a Native American go in there.
Oh, right. No, you're right. And they fire and yep.
So they attack the brothel.
Yeah.
Because there's a Native American. They're basically going to destroy the brothel because
which they love, by the way. They love this brothel.
They don't want a Native American using their brothel. So better to destroy it.
That's right. So nobody can use it then. Doesn't make this is a dumb movie. And then he brings back her cat. Oh God. Sorry. That's what Armie Hammer finds the cat and he's like, "Ma'am, I think I found your cat." And then they're all in the room and he's like, "Well, I better go." Bop, 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 bop.
That could have been really funny.
But it wasn't. Funny. I would argue there's a couple things in this movie that I think should have been funny, and they just didn't know how to deliver a joke.
So now we have the wife is out at her place, and the Native Americans, which are actually the bad guys dressed up as Native Americans to cause problems, they attack. She has an African American worker who, of course, has to die. Because what we're gonna do in this movie is we're gonna put people of color and we're gonna deal with Native Americans, but anytime we need to, we're just going to murder them because that's what they're there for. The white people are there to survive. Anyone of color is there to be murdered as harshly as possible.
And it is because this movie is weirdly it's not gory, but it's intense. The deaths are intense for some reason. It just doesn't feel right in this movie.
Yes. So now we have a couple of them are still there. There's this one guy that's a transvestite, which is so weird. I'm not even going to touch it. There's a barn on fire. And
they have this. Is this the same people that did Pirates? Are any of the people the same?
All the same. Okay,
well, that's depressing. But because wow, what a difference those two movies are. In Pirates, we have a thing with grown men using those tiny umbrellas because that's a joke in Pirates as well. The pirates are like they sneak in with like I'm using the tiny umbrella. That's a pirate. You knew. So it's the same joke, but just not done well. I don't know. They're like, hey, people loved that in Pirates. Let's just do it again for no reason and put no jokes in there.
So Lone Ranger and Tonto, I think, show. There's times where Tonto goes off in Tontos and Lone Ranger go, and then they come together and then they uncome. It's like there's never a friendship between these two characters. You never.
Oh no, not at all. 100%. Because then when they get, again, I'm skipping around and I apologize, but when they get buried, he just leaves them. He's just like, don't worry about it. I'll see you around, guy. Good luck digging yourself out. And then he comes back. He's like, well, you know where the river is, don't you? It's like, you guys have no kinship whatsoever.
And in a Western, you form allegiances based on who you're all trying to kill. And you just form that allegiance right at the beginning of the movie. And you say, let's work together. But we just keep wanting to push these characters apart and also like let Johnny Depp be like the primary character, sort of. But just the nature of the relationship, Johnny Depp's character can't do anything in this society. They're going to burn down the brothel just because he walked in there. And so the character never has any real agency except by getting the Lone Ranger sort of to do things. It's really wrong.
Yeah, that's, it's 100% accurate.
So
I love this movie.
There's a fire, and then they get trapped in the barn, and the only way to get out is to climb to the roof, and then the horse is on the roof of the barn, and it jumps from the roof of a barn.
You're skipping over the joke the joke, quote unquote.
It was a joke.
When Armie Hammer's like, so the horse flies? And then Johnny Depp goes, don't be stupid. Great joke, guys. Nailed it. Knocked it out of the park.
That's a joke?
It has to have been an attempt at a joke. Otherwise, I don't understand why it's in the fucking movie.
Tony, you don't like animals. Do you think a horse can jump off the roof of a barn and land?
Did you just say I don't like animals?
You were doing a whole thing where you were like, saying...
Sure. No, I mean, his legs would literally shatter. Like... As soon as he would just keep going and he could no longer use his legs and he's just moving with his chin, dragging himself across the ground. It was absurd. And there's 2 people on him. I mean, already 2 grown-ass men. Get off. One of you get off.
And more importantly, can't you guys just slide down off of the barn? I mean, I don't understand why you have to mount a horse.
You were on the roof. You got to the roof. That's what you need to do, not just jump off. This poor horse.
So
Magic horse.
Lone Ranger shoots and tries to shoot something, but he shoots this beam that falls down and kills 2 people. Like crushes them alive.
Hold on. It's like an absurd... He shoots, it ricochets off of something of theirs, comes back, hits Johnny Depp's bird, and then somehow flies up and hits a thing that's holding a giant log, and then the log decapitates 2 men. And then Johnny Depp's like, good shot, which I did laugh at because I was like, Jesus Christ, that's dark, guys.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so then they start following this black horse through the desert because it's going to lead them to the bad guys, and then the black horse just dies.
Yeah, just a really sad, and they don't give a shit at all, but I was like, what is happening? The horse just falls over dead. We watch it the whole time. Just like it slows down it stops and then dies. And they're just like, oh, the horse is dead. You fucking animals. Unbelievable.
Oh my God. Then they find the train tracks. Then the Lone Ranger gets...
Which are not buried at all. They make a point of like, look what we found. But it's like, yeah, you could have seen that a ways off because it's not really buried. Nobody else has found these? I guess Dan found them technically. I don't know. This movie sucks, Dan. I hate it.
So now, for some reason, the railroad guy is like, look at all this dynamite and nitro I got. Let's put this aside for later.
Put it somewhere safe. First of all, let me... Dan.
Why did he even have it? There's no reason for this.
He likes to save up for a rainy day if he needs it. It's better to have and not need than need and not have, especially with explosives. But if you have liquid and stuff that is combustible, are you going to lock it in a tiny room? I feel like the answer is no.
What? No, more importantly, are you going to lock it in the bank?
The bank, where a lot of important stuff is.
Usually what you do with that stuff is you put it and a little house away from everything.
Yeah, just in case it, accidentally blows up and kills everyone.
Yes. Okay, so then the army shows up to do army stuff. And then I wrote, Death Dance equals war with white man. And then I wrote, is that sterile?
What a journey we just went on, Dan.
Did he drink something?
Is that sterile? Oh, yeah, because he makes urine on it. So he's going to sew up the wound. And Armie Hammer's like, is that sterile? And Johnny Depp goes, yes, I made urine on it to sterilize it. Is that? I think that's the part we're at.
That's the part we're at.
Another great joke that really landed, and my own stitches bust open, as they say.
So then we find out that Tonto's mind is broken, and then we find out that when he was a kid, these guys came there and they saw silver, and then they're like, "Where'd this come from?" And then he takes them to the silver, and he gets this cheap watch. And then they come back and they kill his whole family. Yeah. And somehow this breaks his mind, and this is his fault.
Well, I mean, it is his fault, first of all. His mind deserves to be broken. How about that? I just question the motivation of these bad guys to slaughter everyone because
they want to keep.
They clearly already know the silver is there, and they don't seem to care. It's not like they're out mining the silver. Right? So why? And it's not like these two bad guys are like, we're going to come back tomorrow and get all the silver, because it takes them 40 years to come back and get the silver. So why did they even kill everybody?
Keep the secret.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe. All right. Got it. Nailed it.
Oh, God. So let's see. Dan was to protect us. Oh, so Dan was supposed to protect them. And so they buried both of them. Why do they bury Tonto and the Lone Ranger to kill them?
Because they just, they don't want to deal with them. Too much drama. I have no idea.
It's the old too much drama murder.
That's right.
So they're buried, and then the horse comes, and the horse just pulls him out, which wouldn't work. But
it's impossible. What we just watched is impossible. The guy, Armie Hammer, is grabbing on with his teeth, first of all. He's going to lose those teeth. Your teeth are strong. The roots are not, guys. No, this was dumb.
Armie Hammer walks up with blood.
I got out.
Not gonna die. Now we're gonna get to one of the parts of the movie that I really hated.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think you can keep saying that. It's gonna lose its meaning. What do you got?
So they go to the silver mine, and my implication was the silver was in the river, but I guess it's not in the river. I guess it's in this weird.
No, you say implication. Implication is the wrong word. They flat out said it's in the river. Oh, that's exactly where Johnny Depp leads him. He's like, "Hey guys, it's in the river." Then they kill everyone, and then later, just in a few seconds, Armie Hammer's like, "They're going to the river. You know where that is, don't you?" Everything's going to the river. I don't know when that changed.
But it's not in the river. It's in a cave.
Nope.
And somehow they have all these Chinese workers that have been here for like months. They have like an encampment. They have a spur. They have everything.
Yep.
And they're mining. And then the Chinese finally are like,
union strike.
Now we're too scared to go in there. Evil spirits.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And so so the bad guy shoots one of the Chinese guys, and then one of his guys, the transvestite, one of his gang comes over and is like, "I don't think we should have to make them go back in there." And you're just like, wait, you just saw him shoot a guy dead.
Right.
And you're questioning his leadership.
Yeah, that's not the right time to do that, guy.
And then he terrorizes this guy. And you're kind of like, we shot a guy. That you're proving your point. We don't need a second terrorization to prove that this guy's an
Well, they really want to hammer it home, Dan, because the first one was just like, a worker, not all that important. But this guy's one of the crew. He matters. This movie's dumb.
Oh, Jesus. So
Oh, Jesus.
The guy terrorizes the guy. Guy goes in. Johnny Depp's in there now. Johnny Depp is in the cave.
There must be a back way in that I don't know about.
Then he kills a guy, and then they roll this thing out, and there's dynamite, and they blow everybody up. Well, really, they blow up 3 people, and then all the Chinese people were there have vanished. They've turned into mist.
Well, they scattered. Everybody scatter. You know.
And then there's Cavendish or Butch, and Johnny Depp has a gun on him, and Armie Hammer hits him over the head because the only way to get justice is to take him back to town because we'll solve the problem.
Even though Armie Hammer has already decapitated 2 people fairly recently.
Why? So then we walk him across the desert because the desert.
Oh, hey, just real quickly, if you're listening to this on podcast, so sirens on our end. I apologize. I just had sirens run by. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, and if there's a siren, I'm like, oh shit, am I getting pulled over? So just thought I'd save anyone that scare.
So the train guy has got Dan's wife and kid, and is going to make them his wife and kid because she's pretty.
Is she? Yeah, it's that does seem to be his plan, which is it's very creepy the way that he says it too. He's like, I always wanted a family of my own to take care of, and now I have one. It's like, no, you don't, guy. What are you talking about?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah, okay.
You're a Chinese guy. You're being terrorized by these guys. You have to work.
Got it.
And then these guys all get killed or leave. Do you run away, or do you just put all the silver in your pockets and leave?
I option 3, I double down and work harder for the guys. Because just in case they come back, I want to make sure they know that I'm doing my best. Where do you sell the silver? Again, this is a stupid question because I was born in 2021, apparently. What do you do with silver? I never understood what their plan was.
What do you mean? What do you do with it? Well, they were shipping it all to like San Francisco or something.
Yeah, they keep saying that they're shipping it to the city because it's worthless here, but worth more there. I guess I just don't understand. Okay,
all right. You know what silver is? It's worth money everywhere that it exists.
Right? Because I don't know. I didn't understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, it's not like you can walk over to the bank and like deposit all. I mean, actually, you can. You just the bank would put that silver in a vault, and
sure, yeah, because the bank can go do that next step for you. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's great. It's great stuff.
I mean, more importantly, if you had a trainload of silver, would you just park it in the desert and like wait for things to happen, or would you immediately put as many guys with guns on it and then send it to where it needs to go?
Yeah, I would do that one. Or I'd put it in a bunch of dump trucks and I would drive it down the freeway, Die Hard 3 style.
So now we do a whole thing where they're on the train and the bad guy's there and everyone keeps pulling guns. And eventually we have the cavalry guy and Butch and the Lone Ranger and the other guy, and everybody's pointing guns. And then the cavalry guy, this is like one of the most spurious arguments I've ever heard. And wait, did we already kill? No. Wait. Maybe this is when this happens. Yeah, this is when. Wait. Huh. Basically, this guy says to the cavalry guy that you have to be evil because you guys killed a bunch of Native Americans on your watch, and you'll get in trouble for that. Do you think any cavalry
because it's unprovoked then?
Do you think any cavalry person ever got in trouble for killing Native Americans?
I really don't. I mean, I think they should have. Let me be clear. But no, I don't think we ever cared.
Yeah. I mean, offer him money. We understand. We're Americans. We understand offering a guy money to do evil. Fine. To do evil.
Here's my thing, Dan. I didn't realize he wasn't in on the plan the whole time.
Nope.
When this scene happened, I was like, he's not already on the team?
Nope.
What's happening right now? He's been with the guy the whole time.
But the spurious argument you're using against him is that
Right.
you're going to get in trouble maybe for stuff that you didn't know was happening.
You better kill more people. Just keep on killing. That's the only way to get back in their good graces.
Jesus Christ. So now we've put the Lone Ranger back to where the thing is, and we're going to do a cavalry shoot. The cavalry's going to shoot him.
Yeah, firing squad.
And so Tonto's dressed up as a Chinese guy, and he causes a train to do a thing, and then
I didn't understand what he did, if I'm being honest.
The Native Americans all shoot hundreds of arrows, which only kills 20 people, and then they ride over this ridge, and then under this magical cloth in the perfect location, somebody whips it off, and there are men ready to go with machine guns pointing in the perfect direction to kill all the Native Americans.
And it is a brutal slaughter.
Hundreds.
It is awful. It's horrible. This is like Braveheart style murdering of an entire pot. I was just shocked when I watched this whole part like this. My mouth is agape, by the way, if you're not watching the video. I don't understand. I don't understand this movie, man. This is some dark shit.
What did they get out of doing that?
They got some shock value. I'll tell you that. I got nothing. Movie-wise, I have no idea. Nothing at all. No reason to do this. I mean, we get to watch the chief guy get, like, stabbed. I don't know. It's all fucked.
It is just gratuitous and weird and unnecessary and a spectacle no one wants to see.
Yep.
And feels really kind of hateful. Like
100%. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like you're like, if you want to show us the plight of the Native American, show us that and show us, the degradation and show us the way that they're disrespected and all of these things, showing them being murdered gleefully is not, it's not helping the situation. It's you
and
being.
This movie isn't that movie. It's not the movie that's like showing us this troubled history. We're having fun, quote unquote. Like this is it's a good time movie. We're just gonna slaughter a bunch of people. I don't know, man. It's so weird. It's so weird.
It's definitely some of the weirdest things. And then we do this whole thing. Oh, no justice, no justice. That's why you wear the mask. What the fuck? What are you talking about?
I have no idea. I don't know. Just put on the mask and get the movie over with. I agree with Tonto.
Him wearing a mask or not wearing a mask means nothing. There's no 100%. Point at which someone would recognize him and he needs to wear a mask for anonymity.
Yeah, it's not like he's famous. It's not like they got Instagram going around, showing everybody's faces.
So now Stephen Root shows up and he's the head of the railroad. And he's all like, we've brought the railroads together. And you're like, Stephen Root getting paid.
I know. Good for him. Good for him, man.
First guy in Hollywood. He's
so happy for him.
Gets that fucking paycheck out of this piece of shit movie. So now the Lone Ranger is going to blow up a bridge. Why are they blowing up a bridge, Tony?
Well, at the time, I don't know. But they had some forethought because then later, that's how they win the day. So I guess that's the reason.
I mean, couldn't they have just taken a gun and shot the bad guy?
No. He doesn't use guns. Remember?
Yes, it's better.
Other than all the other times that he uses guns, he doesn't use guns.
We better blow up this bridge and then figure out a way to get the bad guy to go on a train towards this
drive
bridge.
Right off the edge.
It's not like anyone else might accidentally go towards this bridge to their death.
No. This is a foolproof plan, Dan. Okay?
It's not like anybody might be coming the other direction and not know about this bridge being out.
No. We know the train schedules. Don't worry about it. We're good.
We've telegraphed ahead to the other side to make sure.
Don't go.
So now we set up that from the beginning of the movie. See, you thought this was 45 minutes, and this.
You're right. It was 9 hours later, and I totally forgot that that's how they started the movie.
They are robbing the bank to steal the dynamite that the bad guy put in there for an unknowable reason.
Yeah, all stupid.
Stupid.
Way to bring it all together, though. You know, all these plot lines that we thought were just stranded suddenly brought together in a masterful stroke of writing.
Now we're gonna get to with this movie. There are just so many scenes you just keep getting to, and you're like, oh yeah, that's maybe worse than the last one.
Yep.
So
100%.
we're doing the train lunch in this really cool room. Everybody looks good, and main train guy's like, I've got all this silver, and I've bought the entire world, and you all work for me. And the one guy gets up, and he's like, Stevie Root gets up, and he's like, you can't. And then what does he do? He shoots him.
Just shoots him. Yeah. I guess what's weird to me is like that's not going to work. Like maybe it does. I don't know. I wasn't alive at this time. But that's not a way to like seamlessly buy out a guy, right? Because you kill him, now you're arrested. Now you're going to jail and you lost your shot. Because everybody saw you shoot him. I don't know.
So weird.
It doesn't make any sense. This is a hostile takeover, also a murder. So give me a company.
So now we set up that we've got the nitros sitting there, and they're going to blow it up. And the only way to blow up the nitro is to have Helena Bonham Carter come up there and show her leg to Barry Pepper, who comes over there and pervs out on her ivory
There's
leg.
a couple of moments that like people are really into this ivory leg.
And they're not into her. They're into this like sexy, it's kind of
which is weird because it's the least sexy part about her. Let's be honest.
It's kind of a what's a Christmas story? It's like the leg.
The leg lamp.
Everyone's just like attracted to it. They want to run their hands over this leg.
I want to touch it. Yeah, I don't know.
And so, boom, the shotgun comes out of that, shoots the stuff, boom, and then this begins the infernally long train chase.
It is somehow longer than the first one. Like when we got through the first one, I was like, oh, thank God we're through that. That was the longest train sequence I've ever seen. And they were like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just wait till our third act. It's twice as long.
Now, there's a couple of things about this whole train chase. There's two trains, and they're on these two tracks that are next to each other and go over
somehow parallel.
Like it's a roller coaster.
Yep. I don't know who built these people that built the train tracks were drunk as shit.
Once again, Lone Ranger's horse is on top of a building. He rides the horse on top of the building and then jumps it onto the train and then rides it on top of the train. He rides it through the train.
Yeah, this horse has been dead for like 3 hours.
And then we get this wonderful, wacky scene where the bad guy is shooting up through the thing and Johnny Depp's character does funny dance on top of the train.
Was it funny? I must have missed the setup for the joke. That's probably what happened.
The setup for that joke was in the Alice in Wonderland movie where he's the man who does a funny dance.
I also don't want to watch that movie. At
one point, we realized that on one of the trains, there's hundreds of passengers.
Yeah, which I don't understand what the trains are.
Well, the one train has the silver on it, and the other's a passenger train, and somehow...
And the other one's just like, I don't get it.
It's kind of like it's kind of like you're doing like a ceremony to launch an airplane or something, but you've loaded a bunch of people on the airplane, and they're just sitting on the airplane waiting for a ceremony to happen. Because they're not going anywhere because the other train's back
for a while.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. This is good.
And I just wrote, shoot him in giant capital letters because nobody wants to ever shoot anybody in this movie.
Shoot her!
And then I write, no bullets, 2 bad guys killed, have to go further and dumber. And, there's like a wacky ladder bit, and this just...
I want to talk about the wacky ladder bit for a second, for 2 reasons. One... Shut up, Dan. One, it's a clear homage to Pirates of the Caribbean, when he enters in Pirates and he's in the sinking ship and then just takes the one step onto the platform, everyone loved that. They were like, this is what a way to introduce a character. So this movie was like, you know what's a great way to do that again, but later in the movie, once we already know the character and he's never done anything like this, but then he could do something like this and then we don't care anymore because we're in like a train thing. We're going to do the same thing and it's going to work just as well. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in the middle of like the third act sequence. But then on the other hand, I was like, if the movie was sillier and we did things like this throughout, I think that would have been a fun moment. But it's not in this movie. In this movie, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to say something.
Okay, please.
What this movie should be is the Lone Ranger is like the Lone Ranger. He goes where he needs to go, and he's always maybe sort of self-narrating. He's pompous. He's a stuffed shirt, and then the Tonto is the comedic relief. He's always getting the pie to the face. He's getting the nut shots. He's just doing all. I mean, and it's hyper racist and it's totally offensive. It would have been hilarious.
Yeah, well, better than this dribble, that's for sure.
But this movie's trying to act like it cares about something, which in its own way is even worse.
Yeah.
So finally, the one bad guy ends up on a train turned this way, and then the other train hits it, and he gets killed. And then which did you think Butch was the real bad guy?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, because I mean, whatever. I guess they were both there.
But I mean, that's the whole thing. Is don't you think Butch needed to suffer the final, most vicious death?
Well, yeah, because he's a vicious murderer.
Yeah,
and he's done a lot of bad things.
But we kill the stupid train guy last, and he goes over the thing, and then we see him in the water, and then we see
which is again too much. It's too much.
Buried in all the silver rocks. It's just like it's almost like we don't just go, oh, he's dead. We have to like kind of watch and
no. You cut that. You see him go over the edge. That's it. You cut. We know what happens next. We don't need to watch it. Nope. Who is this movie for, Dan? It's not for kids. No. Adults don't like. It's not for anybody. I don't know.
I think everybody really liked this, but the critics and the press talking about the negative.
It was a tough. It was not an easy production. Whew, you guys don't probably want to see it.
So we're back in town. We do this whole Lone Ranger. We talked about it. He doesn't want to help his brother's wife because he needs to go do something else. But
yeah, it's not specific. I just don't think he wants to be tied down. It's it's a classic man. He loves the chase, but once he gets it, I'm not interested anymore.
I've loved you my whole life, but I'd rather hang out with Johnny Depp dressed as a Native American. That's my choice. My choice is my bro. He's my bro.
Bros over love interests.
Tony's new line, bros over love interests.
Over love interests.
So then we do the cannibal rabbit thing again because that's the running joke that everyone loved early. It's kind of like Caddyshack, the dancing.
Yeah. It's almost exactly like that. I mean, just to a T.
People are gonna love this. And then we cut back to Tonto in the thing. He's like gotten dressed and put on a bowler hat, and then he turns into a bird, and then he's in the end credit scenes. He's walking through the Southwest.
Is there a credit scene to this movie?
Oh, yeah, no, there's not. There's 15 minutes of him walking into the distance.
I didn't watch. As soon as those credits rolled, I was like, fuck this movie, I'm out.
maybe there was something that was said, or maybe he farted as he like disappeared into the sunset. I don't know. I just
That's so weird.
Sort of watched it.
But it's when he's old?
Yeah, it's when he's old. he somehow, because he turned into the bird and then he flew back to where he wanted to be because he's tired of
Oh,
city
so
life.
he did turn into the. So okay, that's another thing I want to talk about. Is does the
Bird?
bird?
I think.
Yeah. Did they pay off the bird? I don't remember them doing it.
Dude,
Got it.
I can't touch
Copy that.
anything. The bird is like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it embodies. I don't know what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah,
All
I
I know
have
is
no
Johnny Depp
idea.
saw a picture of like a Native American that that looked like that, and he's like, "This is my inspiration. This is how I'm going to dress." And you're like,
This is
"Wow,
my inspiration.
that's great, Johnny. You know, go smoke some cigarettes and act like you're British. Who the fuck cares? You're terrible." You did
You're
Pirates.
terrible.
Pirates is incredible. You channeled something magical there, and you have not since. Period.
That is correct.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa,
Fuck him.
Dan.
That's
Whoa,
it.
whoa.
Fuck him. Fuck Johnny Depp and his fucking.
There's your T-shirt right there.
What is it? Nicotine stained fingers, you bastard.
Yeah, well, yeah. My I've never heard you get so mad at someone before. I love it.
I don't care. He's an idiot.
I don't care about that guy.
So that's Lone Ranger. Gore Verbinski, I watched him talking about the movie. It was like a hostage situation. You're like,
Oh, interesting.
It was weird. You're like, you're supposed to be talking to these stupid reporters. Should you act like you give a little bit of a crap about what you're doing? You know,
I mean, you should.
We're this time it's Tonto's story, and we're seeing it from his point of view. Like, what the fuck movie are you directing? 2.5 hours of this garbage.
Yeah, this movie's a full hour longer than needs to be. Both the beginning and the end sequence need to be halved at best. And then we could pluck out like an hour of backstory in the middle. We got a nice a cool 45-minute film. I love it.
Gore Verbinsky was like this hot property. All the video game people were all like, we're making video games with Gore. Ooh, Gore. Ooh, Gore.
Yeah.
And then he did this, and everyone was like, what the fuck is your problem? And then he made one more movie, which we saw, which is about this guy who crashes his car and ends up in this sanitarium in like the Swiss Alps. Okay. And then there's like an evil doctor there, and the evil doctor is like has magic eels that he's magic eeling everybody with.
So far, I'm in.
It was kind of fun, but then I looked at it. You know how long it was? 2.5 fucking hours. It's like,
all right, this guy's got a problem. Someone's got to edit his films. Somebody else, he cannot have final cut over the film. That's the problem.
What's your 2.5 hour fucking problem, dude? I'm hot today. I'm hot.
You are. I love this fire, Dan.
Anything else to say about this pile of garbage?
Don't see the movie. That's the bottom line. You don't have to watch this one. It serves no benefit.
This is the first movie we shoot these, and then Tony does a lot of editing work because he's a pro, and then I write some shit and we put them up. And so I always try and come up with a funny title of the thing.
Yeah.
So this one I want to title "Tastes Like Chicken."
Good.
So what do you got for us, Tony?
It's fucking nothing. Oh, for the next segment, moving on from the film.
We're done.
We're done. Thank God. That's in the past. So for the things that I enjoyed, we took a little break. We took a 2-week break. For those who are not in the know,
first break we've been in over a year. So
I know, great, good for us.
I missed it.
Pat yourselves on the back.
I missed it.
I missed it too, and so did the people. They're clamoring for.
Well, they didn't miss it.
I'm kidding. We didn't miss a single week of release. Anyhow, the reason why we took a little break last week is because my family came out to visit me. It's the first time I've seen them since the pandemic. So that's almost 2 fucking years, which is way too long. So the thing that I enjoyed this week is family. And I know that that's cheating, but like it was good, man. It was good for my soul. It was nice. It was nice to see them. I mean, sure, they got on my nerves, but you know, they're great. They're all great. It's what, you know, it's family. It's family, but it's still good.
I enjoyed it. I hate them, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's family. Right there. You described it. It's great. No, it was really nice to see
I'm going to talk about something that what we're supposed to do on the show, not just talk about
great.
vague concepts. Like,
you're going to follow the rules.
I'm picking love.
Love is in the air.
Shut up, Tony. Dune. Watch the Dune. Love the Dune.
Yeah.
You know.
Dune was great. Just a visual feast for the eyes. Beautiful movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the really smart things they did with the movie release, you know, in theaters is I guess it's a lot of IMAX, which this is a movie you'd want to see in IMAX. And
I would, if I was going outside of my house, I would definitely see it in the IMAX.
Yeah.
Again, it's a visual masterpiece.
Yeah, visual and sonic masterpiece.
Thank you. I was like auditorial. I don't know. I don't know how to say sound.
Sonic.
The hedgehog.
It's not a freaking. Shut up. Jim Carrey.
Don't you say that. Sonic the Hedgehog. Great movie, by the way. Can't wait for the sequel.
Give us a movie for us. Give us a movie to watch.
Hold on. Before we do that, Dan, I've been saving this up for a little bit. So yeah, I need to get it out so I can just move on with my life. The reason my family came out was because we are all obsessed with the Halloween franchise. Greatest films of all time.
Halloween Kills.
We have to talk about Halloween Kills for just one second. It is the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I am so upset about it. This was 2 years of anticipation. I thought they did a great job in the 2018 film, and instead they just like fucking took a shit all over that movie. It is a piece of trash. It is the worst Halloween film ever made, hands down. Okay. Worse than Rob Zombie, who I hate. It is garbage.
Is tonight the night that Jason dies? Jason dies tonight?
First of all, his name is Michael, but evil dies tonight is 90% of the dialogue in this film. It is filled with the dumbest characters you're ever going to meet. It is, I hated it. I was so angry. I'm still mad.
We gotta get a range. Would you rather watch Halloween Kills again or The Lone Ranger again?
I will watch The Lone Ranger on repeat for the rest of my life before I watch this fucking movie again.
Wow. So it is that irredeemable.
When those credits rolled, I was so mad that I had to go to my room. My family's all there, and I was just like, I need a minute. I need a minute. And I just had to go regroup in my room for a little bit.
Was everybody else as angry as you, or most of them just
Naomi is angry. No one's as angry as I am. I get emotionally invested. I understand it's my fault. It's a movie, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I don't care. Everyone else is like, I know it's fine, but it's not fine. It's horrible. It totally misunderstands everything about Michael Myers, what makes him scary, what makes him tick. Everything is wrong. It's made by idiots.
So, Tony, now that you've gotten that off of your chest, why don't you give us something bad to watch next week?
Great. All right, here we go. So, to continue on the adaptation train,
yes.
And also, I'm kind of going with what you felt because I'm in a sci-fi mood right now.
Ooh.
So we are going to my favorite book of all time.
Never-ending story.
Never-ending story. It is by a problematic figure written. Turns out he's a little problematic, but as it turns out, his book is not problematic. It is called Ender's Game. And it is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. I love it. I read it probably once every couple of years just because it's so good. and they turned it into a movie. Finally, it deserves a movie. Harrison Ford is in it, so you know it's going to be good. And we saw it in the theaters, and I was very upset. And so I feel like I would like to get someone else's perspective, that being you, and B, I need to see it again to see if it is as bad as I remember, if they fucked it up as bad as Halloween Kills, or if I was, a little judgmental.
I read the book many years ago. I read Speaker of the Dead. Liked them both. Thought they were fine. Thought they were fun.
Yeah.
Saw the movie.
So when did you read Ender's Game? Like what age? Like not a child, right?
I was
not when you were younger.
Yeah, it came out.
So when you read it,
I was a child.
That's a good point. Sorry, you're right, Dan. We're not the same age, and I forget that sometimes. But when you read it as a kid who's kind of an outsider, and you can take outsider any way you want.
We wanted to be Enders.
It so badly, and it's emotionally resonant to someone who gets picked on. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's a great book from my childhood that like really meant a lot growing up. And then I just feel like they just really messed it up. They really missed what the core of that story is in this movie, I think. But I'm willing to give it another shot.
I watched the movie at some point, not in the theaters. And as I remember it, I thought the movie was a fairly decent representation of what was
okay.
The book.
They're good. Okay, no, that's good because I would like to be wrong.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you looking at it through a little more adult eyes and a little more distanced eyes.
Distance is important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you watch things again and you're just like, oh, this is because, the Ender's story is just kind of like, I think they sort of screw up the growing up thing and just truncate it quite a bit.
Well, that's a problem because that's a very important part of the book.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe next week will be a very short episode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Time will tell. We don't really do that. I don't think we know how.
I think there's some problematic things in the movie that are just kind of stupid, where you're kind of like, oh, because that's the whole thing. Yeah, whatever. We'll talk about it all next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It wasn't received terribly. Like I think it did okay, and I think people were, kind of okay with it. I just don't think I was.
But I also think that was, and we'll probably talk about Orson Scott Card, and because I want to do all that research, because like you say, he has become a problematic figure over time.
Yes, he has. What an idiot.
And it'll be interesting to sort of look at that and see how this book was beloved, and then the other books are kind of weird.
They are. And we could talk about it a little bit, too, because there's a huge time jump and they're very different. It's very strange.
It's very, because I think the Ender's Game story is one, there's those stories that appeal to kids, I think, that where they sort of see themselves as reflections. And then it's hard to write, and Dune is sort of the same way. That first Dune book is like this immersive thing, and then as you go along with the Dune series, it gets weirder and weirder.
Did I read there's like 21 Dune novels?
No, I don't think there's 21.
I think you're wrong.
I think Herbert did like 6, maybe. And then,
right. There's still a bunch more than I thought.
Yeah, I think he did like 6, and then he did a couple more with other people, and then the son did more. So there's a lot. But 21 seems like it's a lot more than I would have thought. But
you're probably right.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to make something that's that sort of seminal multiple times.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, this has been Hate Watching. If you like what you see, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, smash the tell your friends what's going on button. Because that's the most important button.
It's not a button, I don't think, but do it anyhow. Push it.
Doing it. And, next week we'll be back in the metaverse that we exist in, channeling ex-Facebook-ness.
Yes.
And doing the Ender's Game.
Ender's Game. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see if that's the end of our friendship.
Whoa! See you next week, everybody!
Bye-bye!
Bye!
Hey, watch it!